Back to you, John, on the, I guess, more spying activity going on. Right?
Yeah, this is another interesting one in that they picked up some APT malware that's actually impacting Apple iOS devices,
Right.
which is uncommon for the most part. You know, Android
Generally uncommon,
we hear
yes.
about a lot, but iOS not so much. And so to set the stage and kind of go back in time a little bit, back in October of 2014, not that long ago really, just a few months back, I think it was Trend Micro who reported on Operation Pawn Storm, which is, I believe I believe that it's a Russian-oriented actor set here. And they're targeting military, governments, defense industrial base, media organizations. And what their modus operandi is they'll do spearphish emails, they'll have phishing websites so they might phish you to go to a website that looks like the Outlook web access for your company, which is another one to be wary of if you see that, or you had to land at an Outlook web access page that looks like your company, but it's not. And then they have some malicious iframe stuff with exploit kit things in there. But the crux of Operation Pawn Storm was, unlike a lot of the very targeted activities where they might spearphish just a few people, it's called Pawn Storm because they will actually try to infect lots of people within that organization, with the intent that if I can get a lot of these pawns compromised, I might be able to either get the one I'm interested in or use one of those to get administrative rights, crack a password, and then laterally move over to a target that you're really interested in within that organization.
At the very least, they probably buy some time that is just going to take a while to clean out a whole bunch of infected devices. And so in the meantime, they potentially have some opportunities.
Right. Right. So now there's a little shift. Recently involved in this same actor set, they've detected this X-Agent iOS malware. It's iOS _ X-Agent A and X-Agent B. One is just a piece of malware. The other is a version that is kind of hidden inside a game. I forget what the name of the game was. If you run it on iOS 7, it's completely hidden. Won't even have a little button there for you. But if it's on iOS 8, it will be visible. So they probably wrote it back when iOS 7 was around, and it's not forward compatible for their little hiding capabilities that they put in there. Has a lot of the common types of functionality that you would expect in a phone type piece of malware. So it can access your text messages, contacts, pictures, geolocation, where you're actually located, voice recording, turn on the microphone, record it, and send it to you so you can hear it. The kind of rub on this one is they're not entirely sure of the infection vector, although they have they have some hints. So first of all, they have at least one case where they've seen the phone is not jailbroken, and it was utilizing Apple's ad hoc provisioning. So if you're a developer of an app, you can do this ad hoc provisioning for, I think, 100 or less devices, and it allows you to test your app on your phone, prior to putting it onto the App Store. And
so it's not necessarily signed at that point, is that right?
I don't know if I don't know enough about how that actual developer program works and whatnot, but you can apparently, I think you put a list of device IDs in there that it's allowed to install on, and then if you can steer somebody to a URL that's on the internet, it will actually install using this ad hoc provisioning. But I don't really know enough about exactly how that works because I haven't really done Apple app development myself. But they've seen that has been in play with this. Another possibility that they speculate is maybe via USB connection. So you plug your phone in, and now a Windows type machine that has some other malware on it might be able to kind of laterally move over to the device through USB.
Device infection.
Right, something like that. But I don't think they've proven
which
that.
had been documented before, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, yeah. There's lots of other various types of, like there was a Thunderbolt vulnerability for via the Mac or something too.
You get physical access to the device, and all security bets are off.
Right. So anyway, an interesting one in that iOS was in play, and that might help you understand the target set too a little bit of who would use iOS devices versus Android or versus other device sets. That they took enough initiative to try to build a piece of malware specifically for that platform, which other people have not really.
Right.
Because it's difficult.
It's probably not surprising they want to attack Apple, but what's interesting to me, which is the advanced piece, is the infection vectors, because it's such a closed platform.
Yes.
That and we don't need, we're just speculating here what the infection vectors might be.
Right. Well, yeah, in my opinion, is the greatest concern. If they basically are able to, trick somebody into installing something that off market, that's one thing. But if they're able to actually exploit the device and get the thing installed in the background, that's another matter altogether.
Yeah.
Well, the example they showed actually just had on your phone something where it said like tap here to install like in the browser or something. You click it, and it uses this ad hoc provisioning mechanism to put it onto the phone. Even if I'm not quite sure what details you need about that device, or if any. Like, do you need to know its UUID and put that into some config file ahead of time so that it will be able to install on that device, or what? I'm not quite sure how that all works, but anyway.
Well, hopefully some additional information will come out about that in the future, because I think that is an important precedent. This is one of the cases where it's not the typical scenario that we've seen in the past. Right. And if it works, it's likely going to develop.
Yeah, we don't want
further.
this to become a bigger. Yeah, we don't want to see this all the time.
Right.